Let us all say amen. Amen. God bless you today. I want to say good morning to all of you who donned this place and blessed us with your presence. Thank you, God, for another day that He has made and given to us.
Amen.
And we dare to seek to live each moment to its fullest. Because that's the kind of God we serve. Don't you know that God, when He blesses us, He expects us to appreciate those blessings?
Amen.
And the way, amen, and the way in which we show appreciation is how you live.
That's right.
It's how you use every moment to its fullest, because it is to be used to the glory of God.
Amen.
Now, to those of you who are visiting with us, we want to give you a special shout out, special welcome. We want to let you know that we usually don't, acknowledge visitors, because we believe in anonymity. We don't put folk on blast. But we have brother and sister, I'm going to say it differently, Mr. and Mrs. Douglas Howie Jr. Is that all right? Amen. Just a little something we want to say. They, twisted their knot, tied the knot, and we're just praying that God will just bless them.
Amen.
As they engage in this journey together.
Amen.
If you have your Bibles, please turn with me to the Gospel according to Mark. And we're going to be looking at this passage today because it's a passage that helps us to understand the essence of the kingdom. And we're going to be, for the next couple of weeks, talking about explaining the essence of the kingdom. What is the kingdom of God all about? What is that all about? Many times we talk about the kingdom and how we as citizens of that kingdom ought to live. And if you want to know how we ought to live in the kingdom of God, it will behoove us to know a little bit of something about the kingdom itself.
That's right.
And so we're going to be delving into a deeper understanding of what the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven is all about. And Jesus chose to explain the mysteries of the kingdom through what we call parables.
That's right.
So today we're going to be looking at a particular parable, and I'm going to call it the parable of the heart. The parable of the heart.
That's right.
You see, the Bible tells us in Ephesians chapter 2 and verse number 8, it says, for by grace, we'll say, that by grace through faith. In other words, there are two sides of salvation. There is the divine side. In other words, it's what God accomplishes. You don't accomplish your salvation. It is something that is given by God.
Amen.
So we use the word grace to depict what God does in our behalf.
Right.
We call it an unearned favor toward God. It is an unmerited favor. It is something that God is God's initiative. God's initiative in our lives. But there's also a human side. That's why the Bible says you're saved on the basis of grace. But then he goes on to say, through faith. So there is a human response. God freely gives. We can't earn it, but God gives it to us.
Amen.
But it's our responsibility to receive it. So we're saved by grace through our faith. We appropriate God's gift to us, to our lives. We enjoy the benefits of the death of Christ by appropriating it to our lives through faith.
Amen.
So therefore, that being the case, we need to make sure that we are hearing the Word of God. Because the Bible tells us that faith comes by hearing the Word of God. Right. Be careful how you hear. And so therefore, recently we observed that God places a high priority and a high premium on evangelism.
That's right.
You see, if faith is produced by the Word of God, that means the Word of God must be transmitted. so that we can receive it, that it may produce saving faith. Make sense? And you know, God places a high priority on evangelism. For the Bible says in John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that they, whosoever believeth in him. The presupposition is there must be some good news about him so that our hearts can believe him, resulting in eternal or everlasting life. Jesus understood and placed a great emphasis on taking God's message to the masses. For Jesus said over in Luke 19:10, he said, for the Son of Man has come to seek and to save that which was lost.
Right.
Presupposing there must be an initiative or an intentional spreading of the good news that is going to result in saving faith. But if God places a high premium on evangelism, and Jesus places a high premium on evangelism, constructive evangelism seems to be low on the priority list of many churches, and even lower in the lives of many Christians. Help me to solve this problem. Help me to piece this puzzle together. This seems to be an enigma. It blows my mind. If God places such a high value, if Jesus placed a high premium, if the apostles gave their lives to make sure that evangelism was highly prioritized in their life, why then is the church and many Christians, it seems that we place a low priority on evangelism? As one might say, what's up with that? You see, since God has planted us, and you know, we can begin to do surveys and polls and all that kind of stuff. And people will come up with different reasons as to why, you know, this or that, the other is not happening. And many times we begin to talk about, you know, people, you know, aren't receptive and, you know, the curve of this world and all of that. And I get that. But today's lesson, I want to look at this parable. And again, we've heard this parable a lot. We've seen it and talked about this parable quite a bit, many of us. But I want to help us to understand and look at this parable from a vantage point that places the onus on us to make sure that we're diligent in taking his message to the masses. I pray that we realize that our effectiveness in sowing the seed of the kingdom truth depends on our ability to first receive the seed ourselves. So when I talk about receiving the seed, I can talk about receiving the seed from the vantage point of salvation. But then now that we come into the family of God, how do we continue to hear so the word can have its perfect work in our hearts? And we begin to take on the same passion and compassion of Jesus. Passion in terms of our fervor in sharing the word. Compassion in terms of our seeing lost humanity and have a heart that goes out to them. So therefore my life can never be the same. Because I don't look at the world the same. I don't look at lost humanity the same. I understand and I appreciate what God has done for me. I appreciate what God has brought me from and has taken me to. And now I just can't sit back idle while others have not heard the good news. Amen. And so, my objective is that through a burning desire to live the word, we will become more effective in communicating that same word. The parables. The parables really help us to understand the authority of Jesus. Now, we've already made some statements and observations before, and I'm just going to kind of cite a couple of things to help us to kind of grasp where we're going today. First, I want to look at the components of this parable. Three basic things that we're going to observe in this parable. Number one, we have the sower. Number 2, we have the soil. And then number 3, we have the seed. Right?
Right.
We have the sower, the soil, and the seed. The first lesson, I want all of us to get this. The first lesson then goes to the messenger of God. The messenger of God. When I say the messenger of God, I'm really referring to not just the preacher or the minister, quote unquote, but we are all ministers, right? Right?
Right.
Amen. Okay. So I'm talking about the genuine believer. The genuine believer is to sow the seed wherever he or she goes.
Okay.
No matter how difficult. No matter the opposition. No matter the discouragement. We have an obligation to God and to our fellow man to sow wherever we go. You see, when Jesus stood in front of the multitude and he was preaching the good news of the kingdom of God, do you not think that Jesus knew the people he was communicating to? He knew that he was talking to some folk. And again, this parable is really a summary of what we've been talking about for the last several weeks. Because we saw Jesus go into the synagogue. We saw him heal this man with a withered hand. And notice the soil of those Pharisees and those Herodians. They represented a certain kind of soil.
That's right.
Notice what they did. They sought to kill him. What kind of soil is that? What kind of heart is that? There were those who came flocking to him, the poor and downtrodden. And many of them came with joy to hear the good news and receive a blessing, receive a miracle. But then, when the teaching got hard, they said, this is a hard saying. And they forsook him as well.
That's right.
They were very shallow, very superficial. They had a what's in it for me kind of religion, like some folk I heard about. Oh yes, and so therefore when we look at these, the parable of this soil, we begin to see that he's addressing, he knew who his audience was. A lot of folk in his audience, I don't know you personally. I don't know what's going on. I haven't looked in your mailbox to read your mail. I haven't peeked through your shade to see what's going on behind closed doors, but God knows. And so therefore he said there are different kind of hearts, different kinds of soil. And so therefore, regardless of the opposition, the discouragement, the difficulty that may arise from your endeavor to preach the word, don't stop preaching the word. Don't stop sowing the seed. He knew who he was talking to. Some hard hearts, some shallow hearts, some worldly hearts. He knew there was some who would never listen to what he had to say. But he was undaunted. He was not turned or dismayed. He kept on doing what God sent him to do. How about you? How about us today? When we know that we're talking to an audience, and sometimes we take a certain, well, you know, I've been trying to talk to this person for a long time, they got received it on, and I feel like giving up. Have you ever thought about the futility of, sharing the word? Have you ever thought about, you know what? I've been saying the same thing over and over and over again, and they just don't get it. And they still live it, especially when it gets to people you really love. And you've been trying to share with certain folk. Has anybody heard that? You've been kind of sharing some stuff, and perhaps somebody shares some stuff with you, in your heart, you still ain't got it. On purpose. Yes. So Jesus understood it. And so the message goes out to the sower. Jesus knew that they wouldn't receive it. He also knew, however, if he kept on sowing, if he kept on planting, if he kept on proclaiming the message, if he kept on putting it out there, that somebody, somewhere, somehow, is going to get it. And when they got it, they would bear some fruit. So you may not know who gets it. And sometimes we spend first-rate energy dealing with second-rate folks. They've already demonstrated they're not hearing it. And we become discouraged. But Jesus already knew that. He's already told us that. He said, just keep on sowing, keep doing what I want you to do. I got the rest.
That's right.
See, it is not my job to convert you. You or you. It's my job to sow the seed. The Holy Spirit is what does the converting. I can't save you. I can't even save myself. That's God's job. What we can do is take his message to the masses. And don't become discouraged. Don't become confused. Don't be deterred and dismayed. Just do what God said we ought to do. The second lesson is for the receiver of the seed. Notice the receiver of the seed, or the hearer, it represents the heart. Notice there's the soil, right? And the heart of man varies just as surfaces and soil conditions vary. The condition of the heart will determine how one will love God, how one will love his fellow man, how he will love his neighbor, and whether he will be responsive or closed-minded to the word. See, I can't judge whether you are open-minded and receptive or whether you are closed and hard-hearted. But there is a responsibility. The responsibility to receive the message is on the receiver. Now, let me backtrack just a little bit. The sower has to make sure that he's sowing the word of God.
That's right.
The sower must make sure it is the unadulterated, pure seed of the kingdom.
That's right.
He has a responsibility to communicate the full counsel of God, the word of God. But after he has discharged his duty, now the ball is in the court of the receiver.
That's right.
How are you here?
That's right.
Somebody says, it's not your hearing that's the problem, it's your listening. Sometimes we hear words, but we're not able to perceive the message of the words. And so therefore, when we look at that, we have to understand that the hearer has a responsibility to properly respond to the gospel. Notice in this text. Notice Jesus, he says, the Bible says, and he began again to teach by the seaside. We've already talked about how he had used the seashore as his auditorium, if you will. And the crowd was so pressing that he would use a boat as the pulpit. And he'd get in the boat and he'd get out of the way so they wouldn't, just crush him to death. He'd get out of the bit so he could now preach. And as he began to do that, the Bible says he began he entered into the ship and sat in the sea, and the whole multitude was by the seaside on land. And he taught them many things by parables. Now, I want to begin by saying a new method, the same message. A new method, the same message. It's been said that the message of the gospel must never change. You get that?
That's right.
You got that?
That's right.
The message of the gospel must never change. However, the methods used to deliver that message was never meant to remain the same.
That is right.
This message that we have endures time. It endures culture. It endures, the transitory nature of humanity. And if we continue to have cultural changes and economic changes, the message is still the same.
That's right.
But we need to be savvy in how we communicate that message in a culture, in an environment that they can get to what we're saying.
That's right.
Notice parables. The word parable comes from the word parabole. So it simply means, I'm going to give you a long treatment of it, it simply means to cast aside. In other words, to place something beside something else for the purpose of comparison. as on this, for the purpose of comparison. In other words, Jesus would use the parables. He would take an earthly event, an earthly story, an earthly situation that everyone could relate to. And he would use that earthly event to point out a heavenly truth. Notice he would sometimes say, behold. In other words, they may be walking through a field. And he said, the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven, is just like this grain over here. Everyone could observe it. Everybody could understand what that was all about. And he would begin to talk about the nuances of, that grain or that seed or whatever the situation would be. And then he would help them to see a heavenly truth. Taking something that they could naturally understand, something out of everyday life, something they could perceive and get that. He said, now if you can get this, now you can understand this mystery over here of the kingdom. The kingdom is kind of like that over there. And then he would broaden their understanding. See, the beautiful thing about parables, the more that we meditate on the parable, the more truth, the more insight is revealed. That's why the Bible says, the psalmist said, on thy word I meditate day and night. The more you focus on and meditate on it, and the meditation comes from an idea of ruminate. To ruminate. To ruminate is kind of like when, I tell you one time I was in seminary, I had to go out on the summer and was selling firecrackers and all that kind of stuff. We did a big old pasture. And those cows would come there and start grazing all day. I'm not going to tell you the embarrassing part of that. What happens in the pasture stays in the pasture. But anyway, those cows would come in early in the day, and they'd start going through the certain trail. They'd just eat, and they go on out of sight. And then later on at night, here they come again, and they go back to where they came from. And I've been told that they just chew on it all day. They would swallow it, and later on, they would bring it back up and chew on it some more. See, that's how the Word of God is. As you receive the Word of God, and you are able to digest it, take it in, become enriched by it. But then, in the recesses of the night, as your heart begins to just meditate on it, and you bring it back up. See, you don't just read a passage and that's it. You bring it back up and you start to just reflect on it again. You chew on it again. And guess what? You can taste it again. You can get flavor out of it again. See, the Word of God is like that. When you begin to digest it. And notice, watch this now. Get blessed by this. The more you chew on it, the more you like to chew. And the better the taste becomes. And now, the more you chew on the Word, it begins to make more sense to you. You begin to delight in the law of the Lord. You begin to look forward to those quiet times with God, where you and God just reading His Word. And then when troubles and situations in life come and knock on your door, you begin to bring up again that message, that Word, and it begins to become a principle to live by. And as you live by this principle, it'll help you avoid a whole lot of mess that you used to get into, that you still get into if you're not ruminating and meditating on the Word of God. And then, see, to meditate on the Word of God enriches you, so now you're able to practice and live out the message of the good news of Jesus Christ. Amen. And so, therefore, Jesus knew that his audience was mixed. Therefore, because he knew that his audience was mixed, he employed the revealing and concealing message. The revealing and concealing power of this message. You see, there will be those who have a heart that hungers and thirsts for righteousness. There will be those who spurn and reject the word of God. Now, we already knew that there were those who would be in the audience with a tape recorder. You're trying to tape out every word he said. They wanted to use that against him, right? They would even ask questions about this, that, or the other. Not because they wanted to gain deeper insight, because they wanted to have something to accuse him of. So therefore now Jesus, and he begins this new approach to talking to the multitude, to this mixed audience. This audience that was comprised of different soil conditions. So he began this new method of teaching in parables. And some would get it, and some would not. The revealing as well as the concealing power of the parables. Not only did he have a new message for the same message, but also notice the message as it is presented. Again, the Bible says, now notice he says, hear or hearken. Look out and see. There went out a sower. I like this is fun right here. There went out a sower. What do you go out for? To sow. Remember I said that God placed a high premium on evangelism. Jesus said that the Son of Man came to seek and to save that which is lost. And now we who have received the word, we are what? Sowers. And the job description of the sower is what? To sow. So if you are a sower, if you are a true believer, if you are an ambassador for Christ, understand your responsibility is to sow. You're a hard audience. Work with me now. No trick questions. He went out for the sole purpose of sowing. And it came to pass, as he sowed, remember as you go make disciples, as he sowed, he said some fell by the wayside, and the fowls of the air came and devoured it up. And some fell on stony ground where it had not much earth, and immediately it sprang up because it had no depth of earth. But when the sun was up, it was scorched. And because it had no root, it withered away. And some fell among thorns and choked it, and it yielded no fruit. Now, if you notice what I'm not doing, I'm not giving an expose on each one right now. I'm just going through the text. It withered away. Some fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked it, and it yielded no fruit. And others fell on good ground, and did yield fruit that sprang up and increased, and brought forth some 30, some 60, and some 100-fold. And he said unto them, get this. He said, he that hath ears to hear, let him hear. You see, understanding the mysteries of the kingdom, it really helps us to not lose heart doing the ups and downs of kingdom work. See, the Bible tells us that we are to engage in kingdom work. And when we engage in kingdom work, there are going to be some ebbs and flows, some good days and bad days, some ups and downs, fruitful days and unfruitful days. That's right. You see, but the sower, what did he do? He sowed. That's right. It did not depend on how the weather was. He just went out to sow. And so there are going to be days where we have to remind ourselves that the Bible tells us to be steadfast, unmovable, always increasing, always abounding in the work of the Lord. You may not see any results today or tomorrow, but he said we know that our labor is not in vain in the Lord. It's not in vain. Notice what the Bible says, what an older preacher said to his young protege. The Apostle Paul said to Timothy over in 2 Timothy chapter 4 verse number 2. He said, preach the word. And then he said, be instant in season and out of season. Now, many times we say, preach it when they want to hear it, and preach it when they don't want to hear it. Well, preach it when you don't feel like preaching. Preach it when you ready to give up. You don't see any benefit. The message is to the preacher, to the messenger, to the sower, to the true believer. Keep on doing what God has you here to do. I don't care who you are. If you, I don't know, whatever ministry you're in, whatever labor God is calling you to, do that to the best of your ability. You see, your labor is not in vain in the Lord. Whatever you put your hand to the plow to do, whatever ministry you are engaged in, ask yourself this question. Notice I said ask yourself this question. How is this ministry advancing? How is this ministry being advanced or being enhanced as a result of my involvement or participation in this particular work? If you've been in the ministry for 2 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, you ought to be able to see some kind of progress in that ministry. Does this make sense? Amen. Just because you're there, just because you put in your prayer, your blood, sweat, and tears into it, there ought to be some kind of enhancement. Notice, there's some things that we need to understand while sowing. Number one, some seed, and just let's face it, guys, don't get all discouraged and stick to the bow, but some seed will not take root. Let's go ahead and just state the obvious. So we won't get all bent out of shape when folks don't hear what you got to say. He said he went out to sow, and some seed fell by the wayside. On that hard, unfellowed, or unplowed ground. And it did not take root. It even said that the birds came and just ate up the seed. I'm almost tempted to go into the whole bird and all that kind of move on, Gino. But some fell on the wayside and was devoured. Some fell on stony soil and it withered. Notice the sun is supposed to make stuff grow, right? But if you don't have enough soil, if the conditions aren't right, the same thing that's supposed to bless you can become a curse to you. That's right. That's a parable in of itself. We don't have time for that. Water. If you don't have enough depth of earth, the water will wash the plant right on away. That's right. The very thing that's supposed to make it grow, if it's not planted in the right condition, the right soil, the thing that is supposed to be a blessing become a hindrance to it. That's right. Some seed, second principle, some seed will take root, but not bear fruit. Sometimes we have unfruitful folk. We heard the word and we received it, but then are unfruitful because we are not properly connected in John 15 to the vine. And so therefore our failure to remain connected to the vine is going to result in unfruitfulness. We allow the things of this world to begin to attract us. And we begin to have divided allegiances. And we have one foot in and one foot out and all those kind of things. Consequently, when trouble comes and when hardships come, or that shiny object, that shiny object that the world puts out there to entice us, it lures us away. And we can be in, but not in. We can be unfruitful. And then he went on to say that only a few seed will bear 100-fold. Even the seed that was in good ground, there was a variation of the yield. Some yielded 30, 60, and 100. Very few yielded 100. But notice this, how many play baseball? I've never seen anything about baseball. A person who has a batting average is 300. Yeah, they get paid good money, don't they? If you have a batting average of 300, that means you struck out 7 out of 10 times.
That's right.
You didn't get over, you got to play 10 times. That means 7 times you got out. You didn't get on base. But because of the 3 times you got on base, whoo, he can play. Right? Right. If we yield 30-fold, we change his whole world. Understand the dynamic of the mystery of the kingdom. Good ground is going to produce good fruit. Now, if you yield 60, you showing up on the top of your game. But see, God is able to bless us to a point where we can even have a 100-fold harvest. We all want to be 100-fold harvest folk. Everybody ought to make sure that they are doing whatever they need to do to become 100-fold. You may only be 60. Well, praise be to God. Notice, this is important. He who has ears, let him hear. He cries his word out. See, the beautiful thing about this passage is the fact that God wants everybody to receive the word, even though he knows that everybody will not. You want everyone to be saved, even though you know everybody will not.
That's right.
But you don't take the fact that you believe certain folks won't, therefore you won't. This pleading on the part of Jesus is because he understands the predicament that man is in. He understands the gravity of hell. He understands the bliss of heaven. And he wants to make sure everybody has an opportunity to be in fellowship with God. Breaks his heart. It breaks the heart of God to see folk lost, to see folk broken, folk dysfunctional, living beneath the privilege that all of us have opportunity. See, that's why we have so many wars and strife and discontentment, because people are not receiving the word of God. Breaks God's heart. It grieves the Holy Spirit to see us not receiving. And the only thing more tragic than not receiving because of a hard heart is the fact that they're not receiving because the messenger is not plowing and sowing. But you see, there must be a message response. You see, the disciple hears the message and not just the words. Sometimes we just hear the words, but we don't get the message. God wants us to get the message. The disciple is one who is receptive. He's receptive to the message. He may not understand all the nuances of the message, but he is receptive to the message. That's a big difference. You don't have to be a rocket scientist, you don't have to be a theologian to be receptive to the message. And if you're receptive to the message, then God gives you more insight and revelation. It's not just the words of the message, it's the meaning of the message. And notice this. In verse 10 through 12 and 13, the disciples came later on and pulled his coat and said, you know what? Hold on, that's a we know what you're talking about. Is that right?
That's right.
Oh, y'all believe me, huh? Okay. You can act, look at me like that if you want to. And when he was alone, verse 10, when he was alone, they that were about him with the 12 asked of him the parable. And he said unto them, unto you it is given to know the mystery of the kingdom of God. But unto them that are without, underline that word, without. To those who are without. This is interesting that he will say this. Interesting. All these things are done in parables, that seeing they may see and not perceive, and hearing they may hear and not understand, lest at any time they should be converted and their sin should be forgiven them. Verse 13. And he said unto them, know ye not this parable? Now this speaks to the mercy of God. Jesus is saying to his disciples, you're supposed to get this by now. You're supposed to get this. But notice the mercy of God. But it's okay. You ought to get it, but I'm not mad at you. I'm not going to dish you. I'll let you know now. You ought to know by now. If there's some stuff that you wrestling with this week, my question to you is, when I talk to you next week, what has your search that you had of the question you had last week, what kind of progress have you made toward getting your answer by this week? Notice the receptivity of these folk who came to him. They still wanted to know more. They were not satisfied with just hearing some stuff about certain things, and they wanted to dig a little deeper. And they came to him, and we didn't quite get that. He said, I commend you on that. But when you begin to understand this parable, there's locked inside of this parable is a key that will help you understand other parables. Understanding that this is just a story, like I said, that has been laid here for the sake of comparison to the kingdom mystery. And once you get this, you got that. If you don't get this, then you're going to struggle in getting that. I'm laying this side by side. I'm putting it out there. You can understand what happened in your everyday experience in this parable. Now, let's make the vital connection. That's what the kingdom of God is like. Get this. Don't miss it. And then we begin to share with them. They had a receptive heart. They sought further insight. He was willing to do exactly what the parable teaches. Therefore, God revealed greater mystery of the kingdom to that person who is a true believer. Contrast that with the unbeliever. Notice he said those who are without. On the outside, looking in. Now don't begin to dismiss this now, because we could be sitting in here and still be without.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Amen.
It's a heart issue, not an attendance issue. Yeah, we check your name off in the box when you walked in, all you members here, we check it. But that does not mean that you get this. Those who were without. It's a dangerous thing to be without. The unbeliever hears the word only, but does not get the message. He hears, but not with spiritual ears. You know, he can see certain things, but he can't match it together. He can see, but not perceive. Because if he could perceive it, he will respond to it. His failure to respond to it is an evidence that he didn't get it. If he got it, he would have responded to it. But since he didn't respond to it, that reveals that he just didn't get it. See, when you hear the word, I want to see how it produces a life transformation, that you now are living the word. How do you apply this to your everyday experience? This is what God is. See, you can book, chapter, and verse me to death. But how is you living? How are you demonstrating that you are a true disciple? How are you now beginning to understand that you have a responsibility to receive and then operate under the dictates of the Word of God? See, there are many who are outsiders. But why are they called outsiders? Unwillingness to receive what is taught. And I'm just going to say this. Sometimes, you know, certain parts of the message may not resonate. Sometimes certain parts of the message may step on your toes. And, you know, it's kind of like Ezekiel. When God talked to Ezekiel, he gave him the scroll. Remember that? He gave Ezekiel the scroll. He said, eat the scroll. And then he ate the scroll. And it was sweet. It was sweet on this. It was so sweet. Tasted good. Oh yeah, that's good word. You teach us the word. But then it went down in his belly. He gave him a stomachache. It began to sour. It became bitter. See, it's one thing to receive it now. Now, how do you live it? How do you apply it? When your old self, everything about your old self says go right, right on the road. But that new self, that word in you, is saying you need to turn off that path. And you and your stubbornness, you want to stay on that same old, you want to kick it on that path. And the word of God, the spirit within you, is now trying to veer you off. And there's a conflict, there's a tug of war. Oh, wretched man that I am, Paul said. I'm struggling with the flesh. The spirit wars against the flesh, and the flesh wars against the spirit. In our fleshly, carnal self, we sometimes want to do our own thing. And the word becomes burdensome. The word becomes bitter. Because we, in our own stubbornness, have not yielded our hearts to the will of God. That's right. And so he says, you have a responsibility of the hearer. They're unwilling to receive what is taught unto their lives and hearts. They're unwilling to change their lives. They experience the law of conditioning. Well, Brother Meriwether, what is the law of conditioning? Well, it means the more one hardens his heart to the truth, the harder they become. Their openness and sensitivity to spiritual truth begins to dwindle more and more until it's gone. The more we receive, the more we increase our capacity to understand. The more we reject, we constrict our ability to receive more. The law of conditioning. Sometimes we have allowed our hearts to become conditioned. And certain things just don't move us the way they used to move us. You know, we get used to certain things. And yeah, we understand, God saw the word, he gave only begotten Son. Yeah, I heard it, got this. But then that does not really pull at my heartstring anymore. I've gotten, my conscience has been, the Bible uses the word seared. It's been seared. I've become conditioned to be receptive or unreceptive. And so we have to understand, the more we receive, the more we increase our capacity to understand and to grow in spiritual truth. Conversely, the more we reject spiritual truth, the more we decrease our sensitivity and become hardened to spiritual truth. And we're like that wayside. In the church, like wayside. But then Jesus goes on to explain the message. And the emphasis is upon the kind of ground. We understand the seed of the word of God. We understand that the sower is the one who communicates the message. But the real parable, the real essence of this parable is on the condition of your heart. The parable of the heart. The parable of the soil. That's what's important right now. The wayside ground represents that unplowed heart. That callous heart. That hardened life. That life that does not give an inch. That life is unyielding and uncompromised and will not give in to the word of God. And so therefore when the seed hits, it just sits there. Satan knows the potency of the word, so he devours the word. So it won't spread over to somebody else. How is your heart today? Is your heart hard? Is there some, well, he can't tell me what to do kind of attitude? But some fell on stony ground. There's that shallow ground, remember? This is a rootless heart. A heart that has no depth. There's no way for the word to take root. I may hear a good message. Ooh, that show was great. Yeah, I want to give my life to God. And then somebody says, let's go play bingo. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. Let's go kick it. And you, whatever kick it, define kick it, how you define the word kick it, that's for you. All of the superficiality of life. If you have a superficial heart, you may hear the word and you love it, but then all of a sudden some changes in your life have to take place. Fall away. some pressure, you try to share the good news with somebody, and they laugh at you. You didn't like how people laugh at you. You stop. You know, you say some things about the Word of God, and they begin to scorn you and chastise you and persecute you and all that kind of stuff. And you don't want that, don't feel good, right? And so you go on about your business and do something else, the way you used to live. I was happy and glad to receive the Word, but I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm a member of the body of Christ. And now you can't fit in MIA, missing in action. Sometimes people have a shallow heart, with no root. But he goes on to say there's another kind of ground, and this is a stony ground. It's a worldly heart. A worldly heart. I could be sitting in the pew with a worldly heart. And that worldly heart lives a strangled life. A life that I'm in hot pursuit of everything other than what I need to pursue as a believer. The cares of this world, all of the different trappings, the trappings of this world begin to attract my attention, begin to take my gaze off of Jesus, and then I begin to sink. Why? Because worldliness strangled the very life of the Word. And therefore, notice, I took root, but there was no fruit. How fruitful do you consider your life today? As a believer, because this person, the Word took root now, but there was no fruit. Where is the fruit? The fruit in our lives. And then, notice, there were those that were fruitful. An honest heart, resulting in a fruitful and fulfilling life. Now, the question today becomes this. How do I become more receptive to the Word of God? Every one of us, we ought to want to get an answer to that question. Those disciples came to Jesus and said, talk to us. How can I become more receptive to the Word of God? We all love the Word of God, amen? Amen. We all, are believers, right? That's right. But then how do I cultivate my heart so I can receive greater insight from the Word? How do I cultivate my heart? How do I condition my heart to receive everything that God wants me to receive? Let me give you 4 things and the lesson will be yours. We need this. Write it down. Number 1, I need to practice. Underline the word practice. Practice is a word that simply means keep on doing it. Keep on doing it. I need to practice daily quiet time with God in His Word. Yes, I do. You see, because of the habit, that's why I use daily. I didn't say today, but daily. When I engage in a continuous endeavor to spend community and communion with God in His Word, it begins to, remember I talked about that ruminating, to chew the cud over and over and over again, it begins to enrich my life. I need that. Number 2, I need to pray for understanding as I meditate day and night. They came to Jesus, help us to understand the mysteries of the kingdom. So therefore, I can just be reading some stuff. But then I need to be praying to God so He can give me the wherewithal to unlock this mystery. Sometimes, you may want to get away from just, opening up the Bible and say, well, I'm going to read this today. Ooh, Judas went and hung himself. And that's okay. And then you read something that says, go and do likewise. Wait a minute. That's what you really want to do. So you can't just put your finger on anything. You have to have a system. You have to have some kind of approach to Bible study. Line upon line, precept upon precept. Here a little, there a little. See, Bible study simply means being able to put things in their proper place. That's right. And when we talk about context and all that kind of stuff. How do you put proper things in their proper place so you can get an understanding of what the Word of God is communicating? What is the intent of the Holy Spirit in this text? Then what is God's applicational message to you? But first you got to get the objective truth before you make some subjective application. We'll get into that later on. But the bottom line is, number 2, pray for understanding as you meditate on the word day and night. And then number 3, seek practical ways to live out the principles throughout the day. How does this apply to my life? Okay, this is a principle from the word, okay? Now, how do I make that real and evident in my everyday experience? The word of God has to be real and relevant to my everyday situation. God does not just give us some stuff that we can't do, can't practice. So how do I find it to be real and relevant in my life? And then how do I seek out the practical expression of his truth? And then number 4, finally, diligently apply what you do know right now. See, this is the mind blower right here. Well, I just don't understand. Well, you understand something. All of us understand something about the Word of God. It may just be a mustard seed understanding, a thimble understanding. But if you would practice that little bit that you know, you live by what you do understand.
That's right.
It may be a little, may not be a lot. It may be a little, but I'm gonna lean and walk by faith on this little bit. The more you walk by faith, don't you know God opens doors and gives you an expansive understanding of the things you didn't know much about before? Start applying what you do know. And when you diligently apply what you know and understand, it will help you to develop a capacity to receive more. See, that's just a basic rule. You know, when you learn your ABCs, you know how to read. You just learn your ABCs. And then you begin to learn how to blend and all that kind of stuff. You're like the kids, right? You learn how to blend and stuff, right? And you start learning vowels and making out stuff. And now you can read. Because you practiced that little bit what you did know, and now it gave you a greater capacity to learn and receive more.
That's right.
Nothing else apparent. Let me lay that aside here. Okay, you know, take what you do know, apply that to the kingdom, and now you begin to have a closer walk with God. A deeper and ever-increasing relationship with God. Because you begin to put into practice what you see the problem is. Sometimes, not here last week, but somewhere on the planet, we wait around until we know everything we need to know before we go do anything. Consequently, we never do anything because you will never know everything. And so we use that as an excuse not to know anything. Responsibility, sower, is to sow. Responsibility, hearer, is to hear. You see, the seed is going to do what seed does. The question is, where are you? Where's your heart? I mean, you may be here today. And as we've spoken these words, did you hear mere words? But did you also begin to hear the heart of God? Saying, hearken, he who has ears to hear, let him hear. I'm really trying to woo you. I'm really trying to woo you into a closer relationship with me. This is not just mere words, there's a message. And the message is God loves you. God has done everything necessary to bring you closer to his bosom. You're saved by the grace of God, God's initiative. Now all you need to do is respond by faith. Yes, I believe that Jesus is the Christ. He's the Son of the living God, and he died for me. He purchased my redemption because I ain't had enough to purchase my own. It wasn't about how good you were. It's how good God is. His grace, the demonstration and expression of his love for you. And therefore now all you need to do is say, yes, I accept. I'm tired of fighting. Can't win anyway. My arms are too short to box with God. I'm ready now to just say, take me, I'm yours. You are the Lord of my life. I repented of myself, turn it away. I've tried it my way, it didn't work. It didn't work. But now I'm willing to give my life to God. I believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, and he has died for my redemption, and I want to appropriate that to my life by faith, by being buried in the water of baptism. For the forgiveness of sin. You must be buried. Not sprinkled. You can't walk out there and it's raining right now. Get wet. No, we're not talking about that. I'm talking about submitting to the gospel. by being acted upon by the Holy Spirit, being baptized into water for the forgiveness of your sins. If you remember the body of Christ, and you understand you have not been an effective hearer, and you want to cultivate your heart, we want to start where we need to start. We want to pray. The power we need to pray. Because God is even working a change in your life, even in the midst of your prayer. Let us pray. We're going to start praying right now. I'm going to ask that some brothers start right now and get the position themselves. Because there's somebody in this audience today who needs to give their life to God. There's somebody in this audience who's going to say, who needs to say, yes, I've sinned and fallen short, and I want to now be baptized for the forgiveness of my sins. We know you're here. Jesus knew he had an audience of all kinds of hearers. If you remember the body of Christ and you have not been living your life in a way that really exemplifies your faith walk, and you want to repent of that and confess your faults so we can pray for you, pray with you, we want to do that. Whatever your heart condition, whatever your soil condition, God can change it. But all you need to do is come. Take the first step. He will take the rest. Think about that as you together stand and sing a song of encouragement. Show